Good evening. My name is Craig Hill, and this review was brought to you by St. Patrick's Cocaine and Cocaine Accessories. I tell you what, we sell a good brick of cocaine. So after this review, head on down to St. Patrick's Cocaine and Cocaine Accessories. We'll hook you up.
What's going on, y'all? Back here again with your Power Book 4 Force review for episode 2. And this week was a way better viewing experience for me. I didn't have to go through a Power Book 2 finale and then get to know new characters. We got all that out the way. So we know the characters. The story is starting to heat up. I thought tonight's episode was a step up from last week. I was more engaged. It was just overall a better viewing experience for me this week. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's headline show. What is going on with your boy JP? Is he dealing drugs? Does he owe somebody some money? What's going on with JP? They shot up his place, and then he had to call on his brother Tommy. He came through in the clutch for your boy. Also, he has an ex-husband. JP does. Okay. I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna talk about this in the review, so y'all hang on that. But also, Walter has terminal cancer, it seems. So Claudia may not have to knock him off after all. But wouldn't it be boring if he just died of cancer? I still think Claudia's gonna knock him off somehow because she wants to rise up in the ring. So we'll see. Also, Jenard and Diamond seem to be having differences, slowly drifting apart perhaps. Will we see a turn? Probably from Jenard, most likely. Only time will tell, but right now, you know, the relationship is not looking as tight as probably as it was in the past. So also, Tommy and Diamond go on a GTA mission, because that's exactly what this was. But definitely an enjoyable part of the episode. Also, Tommy catches 2 bodies, so we starting the body count already. I don't think he killed anybody in episode 1. Simon got a good beat down, but I don't think he killed him. So Tommy got 2 bodies already, so the counter is ticking. Also, the headline of the night: Tommy is an uncle, y'all. So he disowned Tariq, and it seems like he's gained a legitimate nephew in the process. So I'm gonna talk about that as well. And Liliana returned. But all this and more in your Power Book 4 Force review for episode 102. Let's get it. What is going on, everybody? Back here again with your review for episode 102 of Power Book 4 Force. I'm trying my hardest not to say Power Book 2. So Power Book 4, Tariq, we done with that right now. And y'all can see behind me, I have the King of the Hill inspired theme going on tonight, because the title of this episode is King of the Goddamn Hill. But let's go ahead and get into tonight's episode, guys. I don't want to keep y'all too long. So let's go ahead and start out with the opening scene. We get Tommy looking through some memories in his phone, still thinking about Lakeisha and Cash, and then is interrupted by a call from JP. And in this episode, we get some guys pulling up in a black truck with some automatics. They light up his place that belongs to his JP and his father, like I guess some type of, you know, juke or something like that. So Tommy asks him, are you dealing drugs? Do you owe somebody? It's either one of these two. I don't see anything else. I'm like, somebody just goes past your place and sprays it up for nothing. But I think I don't know if he's dealing drugs, but he does something. Or it could be something simple as, you know, maybe somebody's extorting him for protection or something like that. And, you know, he's not paying up or something. I don't know. But there's definitely something going on with JP. What do y'all think in the comments? Y'all think JP is dealing drugs? Do you think he owes somebody some money, or maybe a loan shark or something like that? He did say something about, you know, the place was a money pit, and he, had to take care of his father's medical bills, things like that. So it could be a situation like that. So either A, he deals drugs, B, he hasn't paid for his protection, or forced protection, or C, it's a loan shark. So I think it's one of the three. But yeah. So in this little dialogue that they have, JP also says that he has an ex-husband. And the first thing I said was, not again. Okay. It seems like they're at this point they're forcing this. Book 2, I can kind of understand, is more geared for the young, the millennial crowd, you can say. But Power Book 4, I thought they were gonna kind of get away from that. Not that I have an issue with like a gay character. I just feel like, okay, Power Book 2 has the gay character Drew. So why don't y'all just keep that series with that? That makes that series stand out with the gay character. So why are we doing this again with book 4? He just has to have an ex-husband. So it's not the fact that it's a gay character. I just feel like they're just putting that in there just for the gay quota. It seems like. So I just think it's very obvious. I don't think it's needed. Definitely and not in this series. But I mean, there is a precedent for like gay couples and things like that. They had it in Power, even though it wasn't overly put out there, so to say. But I think book 2 should be the only book to really have, the gay character. Of course, book 3 has the lesbian character. Book 2 should have the gay character. So, it sets those apart. But book 4, did they really need to add in the whole ex-husband bit? I don't know. But it is what it is. So that's the only thing that kind of just made me shake my head. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But let's get away from that. Let's go into the next topic here. Walter has cancer, so it looks like he wants, I guess before he passes, he wants to make sure Vic is ready to take over the business. That's who he wants to take over. And of course, he wants Claudia, I guess, to just take over all the legit parts of the business and take care of the books, all that stuff like that. But of course, Claudia doesn't want to do that. She's looking to expand, get into like new drugs, things like that. She talks this over with Vic, and Vic is pretty much shooting it down as well. He's like, hey, Walter's never going to go for that. So some way, somehow, Claudia is going to have to get Walter out the picture. And I don't think she's going to sit and wait for him to die, even though she doesn't know this information yet. So at this point, Walter has told Vic, as far as, his diagnosis or whatever, but Claudia doesn't know. So I'm going to go with my prediction that somehow Claudia is going to take Walter out. Some way, somehow. I don't think she's going to be sitting waiting for this guy to just, kick the bucket. So, and plus, I think the story would be better if, she took him out. But then we're going with the child is killing the parenting. We already did this with Tariq, right? So we'll see. But okay, so let's go ahead and go into the barbershop scene here with Jenard and Diamond. Tommy comes to pays them a visit. And pretty much he does the same thing with Walter, giving him, the drugs that he stole from, the crackhead dudes or whatever. And so he gives a bag to Diamond. And then before this, Jenard and Diamond are kind of arguing. Jenard is recruiting some young Thundercats, and one of them will prove to be very important to the plot later on in the episode. So I'm going to talk about that. But yeah, so he's recruiting some young Thundercats, and Diamond is just not down with this. He's like, who are these young dudes, whatever. And they just have different opposing views of how the business should be ran. Jenard is pretty much like, hey, it's a new day and age. This ain't the streets you grew up in before you hit prison or whatnot. All right, so let's talk about this Tommy and Diamond GTA mission. So we start off with Tommy and Diamond getting snatched up by Rojas's people. Since they got the drop on them, they put the bags over their heads, took them someplace or whatever, and said, hey, you gonna sell some drugs for Rojas since you put him in a wheelchair. So I gotta look back at the last episode to see if he was in a wheelchair, but I know he was sitting down, but I thought he was just chilling. So Rojas is handicapped. So anyway, they got to sell these drugs at 3 different stops. The first stop, they stop at like some mechanic or chop shop, I guess. And it looks like Tommy might have another person he can do business with, because at the end of the scene, the lady pretty much said, hey, you want to do business? And then Tommy said, I'll look you up, or I'll call you, or something like that. Second stop, right before that, they snatched up Jenard as extra leverage. So that really put the heat on him. So the second one goes through pretty smooth. And then the third stop is where they had some trouble, as I was going to say Jenard. Diamond gets approached by this police officer while waiting outside, and he keeps his hand on the steering wheel, and he refuses to take his hands off the steering wheel. So they're adding a little bit of, what's going on in today's world. They put a little bit of that in the episode, and then Tommy comes through with his white privilege and saves the day. But I just find it kind of hard to believe, because Tommy, I'm like, you got this white dude that looks pretty tough and dangerous, all decked out in black, and the officer's like, hey, brother. I'm like, what? So I did have a little issue with that part of the episode, but it is what it is. It's TV. So Tommy gets them out of there with this white privilege, like I said before. And then after that, they go to meet up with I'm sorry, I keep saying Rojas's people, but I never got their names. So they give them the money, they return Jenard, and then later in the episode, which was my favorite part, Tommy put him in a trunk and then lit him on fire, and then the car blew up. So I guess he exploded him or whatever. But so Tommy catches 2 bodies already. So are we gonna have a body every episode? Who knows? But yeah, definitely my favorite part of the episode, because I was like, I know Tommy's gonna come back and get them. But anyway, after this, we have Tommy meeting back up with JP. Then JP shows a tape of, I guess, Tommy and Kate or whatever, some like home video tape. And then he goes on to explain that he also has a son as well. And then I'm not sure what his name was. I know Jenard mentioned he called somebody Elijah, but I'm not sure if he was talking to the dude with the thick dreads, or the bald-headed guy, or the other guy that we see in another scene. The third guy that jumped in, the bright-skinned dude. So he is JP's son. I'm not sure his name though. I'm not gonna call him Elijah yet, but so yeah, Tommy is a legitimate uncle now. So we'll see where that goes. All right, so getting towards the end here, we got the love triangle continuing. Tommy meets up with Gloria in this episode, and we also have Vic on the outside who is peeping this out. So now Vic knows that Tommy and Gloria are probably messing around. So I wonder what's going to happen here. He's definitely not going to take this line down, because Vic wants to run off with Gloria somewhere, because we have them having a conversation earlier in the episode. And Vic is basically talking about, hey, I want to run away with you because Walter doesn't want Vic to marry outside of his race. So that's what we got going on with that. So is Vic all in as far as the family business, or does he have other plans? We shall see. But let's go ahead and get into the last part of the night. Tommy sets up shop. So it look like he's staying in Chicago permanently as he pays some dude off to get his apartment or whatnot. And then he tracks down Liliana, who we see earlier in the episode, attack Tommy because she thinks he is out to get her, but he doesn't know she's in town. So we get that early in the episode. Then later in the episode, he tracks her down again at her apartment, tries to kill her at first, but then he stomps. She moves out the way, and he smashes the floorboard, and then he finds like a brick of cocaine with the Jimenez mark on it. So I wonder what's gonna happen here. So from the next episode, it looks like her and Tommy might team up and do some business. But will he eventually, offer? We'll see. But the thing was, when she first showed up, I'm like, who is this chick? I don't remember no Liliana. So I mean, that was way back in what was that? Like season 5 maybe, or 6? I'm not sure. But I'm like, I don't remember this chick at all. I barely remember her. So I was like, okay. So we did technically got somebody from the original Power cast, I guess. But yeah, so Tommy's past is coming to hunt him already. So we shall see. But anyway, that is going to wrap up your episode 102 review. But like I said, it was definitely a step up from episode 1. I think the series is going to get better, but first we just had to get over the hurdle of getting to know new characters and all that stuff like that. And why is Tommy there? But we're going to start getting the twists and turns down the line. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. What she said. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. I will see y'all for the Power Book 2 Awards, which is coming shortly after this video as well. I'm about to get ready to film that. But anyway, guys, I'll see y'all next time for episode 3. Deuces. Throw down with a little joint. I'm at you like pat, pat. Come back when the cameras out around your